Hello and welcome back once again to the Coffee and Heroes podcast, Coffee and Heroes show. Call it what you will. Welcome back to us as we come in with our attempt at a weekly show, going through the world of comics. Your host is always Alan, owner of Coffee and Heroes in Belfast, joined of course by Mr. Marvel himself, Keith Miller. We are here to chat about the last couple of weeks. We did miss a show last week. A lot of reasons for that, not least Free Comic Book Day was last week.
Very busy, very busy.
Very busy. I every year I steel myself for how busy it's going to be every year, and I think I'm prepared and I'm ready to go. And this year it just exceeded all expectations. I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised because we in the last year I've talked about it quite a lot, obviously with an increased social media presence and TikTok presence and stuff like that. We have attracted a younger audience to the store, and numbers have went up. But yeah, it was crazy. I know you were there obviously for a couple of hours with a lot of the regulars and. You guys were obviously just there chilling out, but also every so often, if you needed to help out with stuff, that kind of thing's
Yeah.
always appreciated. But yeah, it just did not stop. Opened the door at 9 o'clock, always open an hour earlier. My goodness, it did not stop, my friends.
Yeah, I mean, I was there from I think 10:30 till about 2:30, and I picked up a couple of Omnis, the X Factor by Peter David and the Chew Omnibus because you were kindly giving us 10% off. I've been looking at both of those for a while, and I thought Free Comic Book Day would be a good day. Plus, you had kept my Free Comic Book Day requests in my pull box. So every time, I thought, right, I'll go up and get these bought and pick up my stuff. And as soon as you get up off your chair, four or five people lined up, ready to go. You were just constant, certainly for that 4 hour period, and beyond it.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we always do those discounts. We always do 10% off graphics and 20% off comic packs and discounts on omnibuses and CGC, everything. And we sold a bit of everything on the day, and I like that. I see Free Comic Book Day as a reward day for our loyal customers. A lot of them, they know what to expect now with the discounts. So usually in the couple of weeks leading up to Free Comic Book Day, they keep their eye on certain higher priced items and think, pick that up on Free Comic Book Day. But yeah, we judged the totals well this year in terms of how much free comics to get in. We only, I think we started off with seven medium-sized boxes worth. We ended the day with about half of one medium box. So lots of people came, lots of people enjoyed themselves, and we then saw a busy bank holiday Monday straight after it with a couple of people we'd seen on the Saturday. Really busy day yesterday and the Wednesday, the 6th of May. We're recording this on Thursday, the 7th of May. So yeah, it's a really strong time for the store. It's great to see, lots of different factors. But yeah, definitely bringing in a new audience has helped, and a lot of quality comics around has helped from all publishers. So yeah, long may it continue. I think it's a nice strong moment for comics at the moment. So clearly the big two are just gonna do nothing to rock the boat whatsoever. They're gonna maintain the status quo. What's this? What's this? Marvel, what are you doing? Step away. Step away. What are they doing, Keith? Tell me.
Well, they're doing, I think what they're all doing, is they're well, are we talking you want to talk about Free Comic Day, or do you want to talk about the price increases?
Yeah, let's talk about the price increase. Let's get the negativity out of the way. We like to be a
Yeah.
positive force
So
here.
yeah, we're quite surprised this week, this being our preview show, as we went through the Marvel book to find that nearly all of the Marvel books, but for one, have increased to at least 4.99. With other books popping up above that sort of 4.99 price point up to 5.99, 6.99 in some cases higher than that. Uh, and that is a wee bit distressing, isn't it? I mean, they're all at it. I think it's going to become the standard. I think about 50% of DCs are the same. Our pals at Image and some of the indies are holding the fort at 3.99 with some of the greatest books on the market. Ghost Machine stuff, all 3.99. The Energon stuff, generally 3.99. I think
Walking Dead
ADW.
Deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
ADW.
find
How
I
have
find
those?
Boom Studios are a company. They seem to have crept up to the $5 mark. Things like Power Rangers,
Yeah, yeah.
Dynamite is always a $5 mark, but that's because they do like. Oh, not that this is an excuse actually, because Ghost Machine and Walking Dead Deluxe do the same, but they always do cardstock covers and nice quality paper and stuff. But it's troubling for Marvel, I think, because this is not being done from a position of strength. This is not being done from a we have 25 titles are on fire right
Hmm.
now. People won't notice because the storytelling's so good. Marvel slash Disney, they announced lots of job cuts, or we talked about it
Hmm.
before,
Hmm.
editors being let go, a bit of restructuring, stuff like that. So to come out of that with a price increase, and I'm not sure what the price increase is for. It's not increased number of pages, it's not increased quality paper, it's
It's to
not using.
increase it's to increase profit margin
But
is
it's
what it
weird
is.
because
You know.
they're doing it at a time where Marvel were the market leader for decades there. Let's be honest, apart from the odd fluctuation. But recently with DC's Absolute Line being a success and the next level stuff and All In and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, DC actually officially have the higher market
They
share,
have
and yet
taken over. Um,
it's weird. It's just a strange time for Marvel to do it. For me,
it is.
they should have done an advertising campaign. We're slashing books across the line. Everything's $4. Come back to us. We've got these great
Yeah.
creators.
Yeah.
We've got great
Yeah.
stories coming up. But they seem to be going the other way. I
The
don't know. They just seem to be shooting themselves in the foot an awful lot at the moment.
the problem is, I think that DC taking that market share, they haven't taken that market share from Marvel because Marvel has remained constant. So Marvel aren't making market share losses; they're holding steady, while DC have taken over, and that market share has been coming from bites that are being taken out of the smaller publishers. So Marvel's not feeling the the pinch. They're as far as they're concerned, they're as profitable as they ever were. They're just not growing. Whereas if they started to feel that pinch, if that DC ascendancy had come at their expense, we might be seeing something different. Um,
Well, it's interesting you say that because Robert Kirkman was obviously chatting recently, and he said, for example, this DC boom has been a really positive thing for independent comics as well because people are walking into a store buying an Absolute book, but maybe picking up a couple of Image titles.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's
that
not even the big, Image is considered one of the big independent publisher, but it's the IDWs and the Ablazes and the Alien books and the all of those
yeah.
sorts of that have been apparently losing ground. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm sure Kirkman's probably talking more or less exclusively about Image
Yeah,
when
no,
he
that's
says
fair.
that.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, surely all this price increase is because, we just had some hot news drop a couple of hours ago. Clearly, Marvel has extreme faith in their future titles. They issued a press release about an upcoming event called Midnight. Not just an event, but this is a line-wide thing that's going to be happening. And stop me if you've heard this one before, or if it sounds a little bit like an Absolute Universe sort of adjacent thing. But the light had its turn. Marvel Comics presents Midnight, a terrifying new universe.
A new
Darker universe.
universe, an additional
Darker
universe.
new universe coming this fall. Stay tuned next week for more information on this all new publishing line, including series and creative team reveals. Anybody watching on YouTube, I'll just fire it up there. This is the sort of promo art they're doing for it here. It just says the light had its turn fall 2026. So maybe Marvel have such absolute faith. Bad pun. Maybe they have such a massive amount of
Ultimate
faith.
Faith.
Maybe they have ultimate faith. Well, they don't respect ultimate, but that's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, maybe they know some great stuff is coming and they're just preparing people for it. I don't know, but speculation on this thing, Midnight. Do you think this is what's going to come out of the upcoming Armageddon? Because Armageddon would lead to darkness, you would think. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, Armageddon, nuclear winter, as you say, darkness. I don't know. That little whenever I hear midnight and in Marvel, I think about the Midnight Suns, and I notice that there's a little logo just above that icon that could be considered like a corona of a sun or a
Hmm.
sundial or something like that. Midnight Suns obviously being the darker supernatural end of the Marvel universe, including the likes of Ghost Rider and various others, Blade and such. So I don't know if that's what they're at, but whenever they say an entirely new universe, uh, that's interesting. So yeah, don't know.
Is that universe adjacent, or is that this is going to replace the main universe?
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Sure will.
We shall see. I mean, they did talk about it before. Armageddon was going to lead to some status quo changes. So, if this is what they're building to,
Mhm.
we shall see.
Yep,
But
yep.
to be honest, all of the big two reveals at the moment pale in comparison to the frankly ridiculous sounding title coming soon from Image Comics again. A title called Hammer Fist. Now,
Yes, indeed.
written by Rick Remender, so you had me there, but then you throw in the Winter Soldier artist and industry legend Steve Epting on art. You throw in this gorgeous sort of promo art, which I don't know how well that's coming across again on screen. If you're listening, I apologize, but you can look it up pretty easily.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's called Hammer Fist, and tell me this solicitation is not just aimed at us. I mean, we should know this. I mean, Remender's a Gen Xer. He's from a very similar era as ourselves, but this is literally pitched as Reservoir Dogs collides with the Evil Dead. I mean, how can you go wrong?
In a filthy crime story, no less.
Yeah. That mutates into a savage splatter horror nightmare from New York Times bestselling author Rick Remender and acclaimed artist Steve Epting. Hammer Fist is for people who grew up on these unhinged genre films of the VHS era. Look up VHS kids. Over the top, hard R, wildly original, but never forgetting to be fun, said Remender. A hard boiled crime story that mutates into an ultra violent, Raimi style horror, following a low rank killer who becomes the only thing standing between us and eternal darkness. Getting to see it come to life in the hands of a master like Steve Epting is a dream come true. I've wanted to collaborate with him for years, and the pages speak for themselves. Cinematic, brutal, and emotional, paired with Matt Hollingsworth's color, there just isn't a better art team. It just felt nice to sort of showcase this. Obviously, as you say, we're going to be focusing quite a bit on the previews for what's coming out soon. So getting this in as an advanced solicitation, I would highly recommend getting this on pull list. Remender's recently finished up quite a few titles. You know, a few of his books have been
Mm-hmm.
coming to an end,
Mm-hmm.
so he has this to aim for.
Yeah, yeah.
To aim his focus at.
Dust
Look
to Dust came to
fantastic.
the end last week, didn't it?
Yeah, Dust to
Yeah.
Dust, Sacrificers. There's been a couple of books. You know, Grommets isn't long finished, so there's not a lot on the
Yeah.
writing slate there. But Remender's the kind of guy that seems to have 4 or 5 projects in his back pocket that everyone's working on, but just haven't had a chance
How
to
many
get
uh
to
how
just yet.
many issues has Escape, do you know?
Escape is an ongoing, as far as I know,
Right,
which
okay,
for
cool.
me I have no problem with because
No,
that
that
is
sounds very
one
good.
of the best books on the shelves.
Cool.
And then just one last thing I wanted to bring up because I didn't realize it had crept up on us so quickly. But Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Now, if there was a game to get me back into gaming, it is this. It's actually coming out on the 22nd of May, so it's only a couple of weeks away. This is a Bat fan's wet dream. This has a Batcave with every single bat suit that has been throughout the era of comics. This has an absolute Batman in it. This has Nightwing in it. This has the Robins in it. This has a fully realized Gotham City, and it just looks like all the mechanics of the Arkham games. So this is Game of the Year material right here. I mean, you'll play through the whole thing as Nightwing, or unless you can have the Batman when it was Dick Grayson outfit, and then that might be your go-to.
Might be, yeah. Yes, I mean I've only really played those. I think I played those Lego Star Wars games a wee bit back in the day, but I haven't really didn't really play through too many of them. But yeah, this
Oh,
looks cool.
it's time now. It's time now. We're going to be going to it, believe me.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, we'll jump on later on to sort of some of the books we've picked up recently, things we're looking forward to that have been out in the last week or two. But we're probably wise jumping into the previews side of things, because I think the last month or two, the previews catalogs, they've had their moments of being sparse, but I have to say this was a strong month for previews. What do you think?
Yeah. There was some stuff in there. I mean, I don't know if I would have called it strong.
No?
Certainly fair to middling. But let's see what comes out. Maybe we're just looking at different things, and I have no problem with that.
No, well, that's obviously a good thing. Yeah, no, I just thought it was really strong because I know the last couple of times we've struggled a little bit, especially with independent stuff. But there's some really big ones coming over the next sort of couple of months. And let me just pull up the DC stuff. So obviously with DC, you've got the DC Connect catalog. You can always jump on there. We do use League of Comic Geeks quite a bit as well, which is always good for getting ahead of the game there. But yeah, I mean, we've talked as well before in the past about synchronicity between movies and the comics, and it's always a
Hmm.
welcome thing. And we're seeing that here nicely with a new Clayface series dropping. Now, obviously, we chatted a few weeks ago about the Clayface trailer. You know,
Hmm.
obviously very heavy in the horror, which is never a bad thing. And it's nice to have that little bit of a change up in the superhero stuff. Well, not only that, but they're actually lining it up with a new Clayface series coming soon, which is, if I can just pull this up, because of course it's loading slowly, which is called Clayface Celebrity Dirt. Um, Let me pull this window open a little bit. This makes for great audio listening, as I'm sure you will agree, folks. I'm sure you're very impressed with my spacing things out. All right, here we go. So yeah, Clayface Celebrity Dirt. So this is going to be a six-issue miniseries, and it even leads with the line of ahead of DC Studios' Clayface movie. Witness Basil Carlo bring the mud and pain back to DC Comics. Now, the writer I'm not too familiar with, but they are described here as an acclaimed horror writer. So good mixture of creator with material, called Jude Ellison S. Doyle. Art and cover by Fran Gallen. Now, the artist I am familiar with, Fran Gallen did a great book not too long ago with friend of the pod, Kyle Starks, called Pine and Miramac. Absolutely beautiful book. Going to be doing the six issues here. There's also some great variant covers here, especially one that is by Dave Johnson. Looks like a horror movie poster, which is never a bad thing. So before he was Clayface, Basil Carlo was one of the hottest stars in Hollywood. As he breaks out of Arkham once again, he's ready to stage his comeback. But there's just one problem. Somebody already beat him to it. And Basil Carlo is already a massive star. But if that's true, what's next for the real Basil? And what does his predicament have to do with young women disappearing in Los Angeles and a new supplement causing hideous transformation in its users? Acclaimed horror writer Jude Ellison S. Doyle and rising star artist Fran Gallan join forces for a bold new miniseries that's equal parts body horror and Hollywood glamour. So, again, this is just great to see. We talk all the time about this synchronicity. You know, if people see this movie and they fancy trying out comics, then this is the perfect thing to be doing. Flicking through the DC book, as I say, I think there's tons in the DC book. There is quite a lot as certainly ongoing series, but there were one or two things that grabbed me for number ones.
Sure. I mean, I definitely kind of well, I'm interested. Just Joshua Williamson's on it, Eddie Burrows on the art, and that's Superman 2026 annual, year 1000, number one. That being a one shot, 48-page annual, and it's picking up the story after the end of DCKO with that slightly weird disappearance of Superman after he became King Omega with the powers of a god, but he pushed Darkseid back to the absolute world and rejected the Heart of Apocalypse, and then went missing. So this is the story of where he went. Future was infected by Darkseid and his Legion, leaving a trail of death and disaster in their wake, including the Legion of Superheroes. Now Superman is using the powers that he got from Time Trapper to heal the future and correct the damage that has been done, but his powers are fading fast, and he may become lost at the end of the time. So sooner he returns and takes over from Superboy Prime in his own book, the better. So maybe this will be the start of that.
Why are you saying the Superboy Prime stuff isn't good? You need your original Superman back.
Man, I read that first issue, and while it looked good, I just cannot stand that character. Just
Is
just
he the Deadpool of the DC
in
universe?
some ways, and in the same ways, a lot of fourth wall
Fourth wall
breaking.
breaking, all that
But
kind of stuff.
he's fourth wall breaking because he's from a world where I guess the DC heroes are all comic book characters.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't gel with me at all. So I dropped the Superman book until such times as Superman's back.
Well, one you may or may not jump onto because I don't know if you have any experience with the title in the past, but it is a personal favorite of mine. It's a book called 100 Bullets.
Hmm.
It was originally released during the sort of golden era of DC Vertigo. 100 Bullets, 100 issues. You know, the main crux of the series was a mysterious man turns up to you, gives you a briefcase with two untraceable guns and 100 untraceable bullets. Who do you kill? You would get away with it.
Right?
Who do you kill? Do you kill anybody? Can you live with yourself if you do it? But then it opens up into this big, massive, worldwide sort of conspiracies story. Absolutely fantastic. Every single issue written by Brian Azzarello, every single issue drawn by Eduardo Risso. Beautiful, beautiful book. But it's nice
Mhm.
to see there is a sequel series coming back, which is 100 Bullets, the US of Anger. So this is going to be an eight issue sort of maxi series, I suppose. So with the number one, same creative team as before. Not many people made it out alive from the fall of the trust in 100 Bullets. Lono did, just barely, and it sent him spiraling on a years-long international odyssey. His one-time protege, Luke Hughes, was the only one smart enough to walk away clean. But now tragedy has come knocking on Luke's door, and the scent of blood has attracted a dangerous stray dog. Lono's back in the United States, and he's on the hunt through a network of good old boys and militias, mega churches, millionaires, and madmen. In Brother Lono, Lono unsuccessfully tried to save his own soul. In the US of Anger, he'll play Satan to a host of demons, tempting the United States to sell hers. The multi-Eisner award-winning team of Bran Azarel and Eduardo Risso have returned to their most famous creation, unleashing a new chapter in Vertigo's greatest crime saga, told for the first time in stunning black and white. Have you ever read 100 Bullets?
No, it's one that is on my list for perusal at some point in the near future. And given that I find myself these weeks usually finalizing my pull list fairly early, completing it. This would certainly be the time for it. So I'll maybe grab from you at some point in the near future.
Well, one good thing about Vertigo stuff, and you'll appreciate this given the intro, what we were talking about, all the Vertigo stuff is $4, every single one
Oh,
of them. The
brilliant.
issue ones have all been 40 pages. This is no exception. 40 pages, $4 book, and then just flicking through the catalog there, you see Parallel to Brutal Dark's up to issue six, Bleeding Hearts is up to six, End of Life's up to six, all holding the $4 to $4. So that seems to be a line-wide pricing structure for Vertigo,
Brilliant.
and that's really good
Brilliant.
to see.
Yeah, 100%. And that Brutal Dark is just phenomenal, coming to an end in July, as you say. That first arc anyway of Ezra Kane in it. One that's always worth a picking up, coming in at the 4.99 price point, as do all the Absolute books, I think, is Absolute Batman 22. Um, the origin of Harley Quinn. Less interested in Harley Quinn, more interested in the fact that the fill-in artist is one Werther Dell'Edera of House of
Sick take
yeah,
from
yeah, something is killing the children in House of Slaughter sort of fame. So yeah, really, really looking forward to that. That'll be good fun. They've been pretty good in terms of how they deploy fill-in artists, haven't they, in the Absolute books? You know,
yeah.
if there is something like a one-shot origin story, they'll usually use a fill-in artist while keeping the regular artist on the contiguous issues.
Yeah, there seems to be like every so often you'll get maybe a two-issue arc that's sort of fill in or will focus on a certain character, and that's where they bring in the artists. But as you say, if it jumps into a sort of four, five, six-issue arc, then it's back to Nick Dragotta, of course, series creator along with Scott Snyder. This July also sees the very welcome return of Dark Knights of Steel. Now, Dark Knights of Steel was this great book written by Tom Taylor. The art in the first series was Yasmin Putri. It was always described as Game of Thrones meets the DC universe. Brilliant book. One thing I would say is the sequel. It's been a little bit in the back burner for a while, so Dark Knights of Steel may need a reread before this comes out. But coming back for a second round, Dark Knights of Steel 2. Tom Taylor writing. The artist on this is going to be Otto Schmidt for the duration of the series, although Yasmin Putri is doing covers. So the fan favorite Elseworlds epic continues. An entire medieval world was forever changed when a spaceship crash landed from a doomed planet. Monarchs died, kingdoms rose, long buried treasury came to light, and a league was born. Now, an ancient violent war bruised beneath the waves, one that promises untold destruction should it break the surface. If the League hopes to weather it and protect the lands of its realms and beyond, it must first root out the treasonous agents hiding in plain sight amidst its own ranks. Worldwide best-selling writer Tom Taylor and acclaimed artist Otto Schmidt welcome you back to the epic high fantasy world of Dark Knights of Steel, where the darkest days are still ahead. So
Hmm.
yeah, looking forward to that comeback. I love the
Yeah,
first series.
yeah, that was really good fun, that first series. I enjoyed it much more than I enjoyed the vampire stuff. You know, the deceased or whatever it was.
It was DC
Um,
versus Vampires, which I
or DC
really
versus
enjoyed
vampires.
until I got the issue 12, and I was expecting a nice conclusion, and then you got one of these, the end question mark, and
Yeah,
it just drives me insane.
yeah.
Just drives me
Okay,
insane.
okay. Anyway, last one for me for DC in the month of July. We've got Batman Superman World's Finest 2026 annual. So that's the second annual this month. Now, this is coming in at the highest price point of 5.99 for 48 pages, and it's an oversized summer special. And some would say that this is the actual World's Finest as we attempt to have a relaxing night out with Jonathan Kent and Alfred. But after an emergency leads Batman and Superman in a trap, it's up to the father figures to jump into the fray. And also, with Lois Lane's current investigation putting her in inner gang's crosshairs, Batman steps in to provide Lois backup, but as Bruce Wayne and accompanying Lois on a date. So, Mark Russell, Mark Waid, Tyrone Finch on writing there with Clayton Henry on art duties. But yeah, you'll be glad to see Alfred reappearing again, I would imagine.
Yeah, anytime Alfred's back is always a good thing for me. I mean, I kind of appreciate that they've sort of remained, loyal to the fact that Alfred was killed.
Hmm.
But oh, I miss that character. I mean, Matt Fraction's found a really nice way to bring the character back, and his main Batman run, without fully bringing him back. But at the same time, I do miss Alfred, I must say. Uh, Luckily enough, I have a near 4-year-old Alfred in my life, so you know, we're all good. But yeah, that's the DC side of things. Yeah, as I say, you can always look up the DC Connect to check out everything else outside of there, or again, check out the League of Comic Geeks solicitations. That takes us away from DC and brings us over to Marvel. And it was quite a packed Marvel book this month. I thought some really, really good looking stuff, some interesting looking events. Again, we talked before about synchronizing movies with comics. Marvel actually seemed to be making quite an effort with this because as we know, Punisher is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie along with Hulk. We mentioned Spider-Man Long Way Home last month, but this month actually sees Punisher versus Spider-Man #1. So this is written by Dan Abnett with art by Matteo Delafonte. A walk down memory lane, the Punisher and Spider-Man, two of the most notorious names in New York City, with very different approaches to making the Big Apple safer, or not, depending who you ask. Join us now for a trip to the days of their earliest encounters with returning fan favourite writer Dan Abnett, who did Punisher Year One, and your new favourite artist Matteo Delafonte. Brought together by happenstance and forced to stay that way by an ally from Frank Castle's Past in Need, will the web slinger and the gunslinger be able to begrudgingly set aside their differences before they find themselves at one another's throats? That is a great line. The web slinger and the gunslinger. That
Yeah,
is,
absolutely.
I like that.
Um, it's a Punisher issue for me as well. Releasing 1st of July, 32 pages at that cursed 4.99 price point. But Punisher #6, Benjamin Percy continues his fantastic run on the Punisher. That has just been great so far. And a new arc called The Long Bullet starts here. An all-new enemy finds Frank Castle, powered by rage and a mechanical prosthesis keeping alive. Who or what is collateral damage? And what do they want from the Punisher other than his last breath? Just been really solid stuff since the start. I think you'll agree.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Punisher in general, it's but quite the renaissance, I would say, for the
Yeah,
character. The
yeah, yeah,
character was
yeah.
persona non grata there for a couple of years, but we're now seeing Punisher stuff pop up all over the place. Also, this month they'll see the reprinting once again of the Amazing Spider-Man 129 facsimile. That, of course, is first appearance of Punisher, so you can check that out if you want to check out the character's first appearance without having to donate a kidney. So another one that looks good to me this month is Godzilla Conquers the Multiverse #1. Now, Godzilla is just, all conquering. DC books, Marvel books, indie books, nothing can
hmm
stop him.
All over the show.
So all over the show. And with this one, it's written by Jerry Dugan, art by Javier Garron. Godzilla unleashed on Nora's safe and unholy lands between Null and Godzilla conquers Universe 616. And now Doom, Spider-Man, Kang, Emma Frost, Ghost Rider, Punisher, there he is again, Man Thing and more stand on the edge of annihilation. When Doomstat rips across dimensions to capture a kaiju capable of stopping the King of the Monsters, the team collides with Mecha Friends, multiversal kaiju, and a deadly red skull in adamantium armor. Oh, this sounds great. But as the universes burn, an unexpected ally may hold the key to survival. A bombastic, continuity-shaking launch that shreds the multiverse in true kaiju-crushing fashion. These Godzilla ones, they tend to be 5 issues. Doesn't fully specify here, but just based on previous series, destroys the Marvel Universe,
Yeah,
etc.,
yeah. I
etc.
think this
This will
picks
be a
up from
five.
that. This is same creative team as the previous Godzilla mini, and at the end of that previous Godzilla mini, I think Godzilla ended up being possessed by the a symbiote or something, and I was like, yeah, I think that's enough for me. Though I am enjoying Legacy of Monsters season 2. Uh, it's
There you
uh,
go.
it's it's
Swings and
excellent stuff.
roundabouts. Swings and
Absolutely.
roundabouts.
Next couple for me are series that I'm really, really enjoying, but I think they'll be elevated in July by the inclusion of guest stars. So as you say, a wee bit of a renaissance going on for Iron Man because that book by Joshua Williamson has been really solid so far. But in issue 7, we have War Machine returning. In the after the events of the first arc, Tony has taken on a surprising new role in the Marvel Universe. His allies are wondering what this means for the Avengers and what in the hell he is building in Hulk's old Gamma base. Tony's old buddy, James Rhodes, aka War Machine, pays Tony a visit to investigate. But while Tony and War Machine catch up, an old Iron Man rogue returns with a crack. So good to see. It'll be good to see War Machine back. Character I've always loved in the comics, and
Hmm.
that relationship between Tony and Jim Rhodes is a great one. And an old Iron Man rogue returns with a crack. That can only be Whiplash, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. So yeah, Iron Man I mean it's even got me reading it, so I mean I can't, give any higher praise than that for an Iron Man book, but I've always been a Joshua Williamson fan. So there it is, kids. Follow the creators. not the characters.
Hmm.
I slightly cheat with my last one from Marvel because it's actually three books, but they're three one-shots,
What?
all falling. Yeah, I know it's no, but it has to be done. Has to be done. It's falling under the Marvel What If label, which I've always loved the What If stuff.
Yeah.
One shot, they tend to be in general one shot books, just alternate timelines for certain characters or alternate events. And there's three books that's going to be launching this month. There's going to be, let me see, July 1st, July 15th, and July 20th. So one every 2 weeks. So you've got What If Jessica Jones #1, which the crux of it is what if Jessica Jones was bitten by the radioactive spider? That's written by Justina Ireland and art by David Messina. He was one of the artists on Ultimate Spider-Man, along with Marco Cicchetto. You have What If Spider-Man #1, which is what if Kraven survived his last hunt. That is written, of course, by J.M. DeMatteis, with art by Yildiray Cinar. And then the last one is What If Secret Wars #1, which is what if the Ultimate Universe survived the Secret Wars. That's written by Alex Pechdel, who's quietly becoming one of Marvel's best writers at the moment. Uh,
Mm.
Doing a great
He's on
run in
a
Cyclops.
yeah, fantastic. Are you reading that?
I am, yeah. It's one of the few
Yes.
X books I actually am reading.
Yeah, it's solid. Like it's the most solid X book that's coming out at the minute, I think.
Yeah, and then
Um,
the artist on that's Cafu. He did Iron Man
yeah,
previously
he
with
did.
who was the writer?
You tell me.
That was after your what was your is it the Cantwell run he did or
It
was it
is the
run
Cantwell
after
run.
Cantwell?
Yeah, it is the Cantwell
Okay.
run. Yeah,
Whereas I just
absolutely.
always remember Cafu because Cafu is like one of the greatest Brazilian right backs of all time in football. So,
Take your
probably
word for
not
it.
the same guy. Although who knows? Danny Earls used to be a footballer and now he's an artist for DC. So
There you go.
I need to look into this.
So last Marvel book for me. Again, a great book, but really interested in it because of the guest star this month. It's going to be a Mark Spector Moon Knight #6. Again, that crazy 4.99 price point. But releasing July 22nd. Blade draws near. Jed McKay and Emilia Pramanik. Critically acclaimed tour de force continues with the return of the Daywalker Blade. Weeks ago, the Midnight Mission was impaled by a living sword and seemingly destroyed. But while Mark Spector and his allies were able to resurrect it, another horrifying house from across space-time heard its death cry and has come to Earth hungry for flesh and blood. Luckily, that's a hunger Blade knows how to handle, though this monstrosity may be even beyond his pay grade. Always good to see Blades. So that'll be nice, and that cover's pretty badass with Midnight and Blade standing back to back.
You mean Blade, that character that's so hard to crack that they spend 7 years trying to do a movie about because they don't want to just be a guy killing vampires?
Yeah,
Should
quite.
be the easiest sell in the world, but anyway.
Should be really, shouldn't it?
I'll just go back and watch the first two Wesley Snipes movies. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So swinging away from Marvel and on to Indie. Do you want to kick off
On
there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said he was everywhere, and here he is again, and he's rocking up in an all ages book this time. So, Sonic the Hedgehog times Godzilla. It would appear that there is no license in this world that Godzilla will not mix with. So, in this case, Sonic the Hedgehog, written by Nick Marino, art by Jack Lawrence. So, when the King of the Monsters and other iconic kaiju mysteriously arrive in the Blue Blur's world, the brilliant and evil Dr. Eggman will try to harness the power of the kaiju for his own nefarious goals. Only Sonic and his amazing allies, including Amy, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow, will be able to stand in the villain's way and send the monsters back to their own world. So the Sonic stuff does really, really well in store. It is really well written. It's treated with a bit of respect. Good creators on it. You've got the 35th anniversary of Sonic this year, so I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these events. One just started this week, which was the DC Universe times Sonic Metal Legion. So yeah, I've no doubt this will prove popular. As I say, quite a few Sonic heads in the store. So that is
Brilliant.
from IDW.
Very cool. Very cool. Hard to believe Sonic the Hedgehog's 35 years old. That's mental.
It's very depressing.
Absolutely. So, as you know, I can't look past a Rocketeer book without mentioning it. I picked up the fantastic IDW Compact, Thrills, Spills, and Other Stories
They're
last week.
starting to
So
do some good compacts, IDW
yeah,
actually.
I mean those again, obviously they're coming off the back of DC's initiative, and just great. I was able to fire it into my bag and take it with me whenever I was heading off on the train on Wednesday morning. So that was pretty cool. But this on July the 8th, coming out at 4.99 for 36 pages, is the Rocketeer Infiltrator #1. It's the height of World War II, and Betty is a Nazi collaborator, or so we're led to believe. As Allied planes mysteriously explode in midair across Europe, rumors of a Nazi superweapon compel the US to send its fastest undercover asset, the Rocketeer. With Betty posing as a defecting American actress in a German motion picture, Cliff Secord, aka the Rocketeer, accompanies her brother and manager accompanies as her brother and manager, sorry. And since neither has experience in deep cover work, the Allies send a handler to support them, a debonair MI6 agent who assumes the role of Betty's co-star. The Rocketeer will need to maintain his cover, destroy a super weapon no Allied agent has actually seen, and keep Betty away from the handsome British secret agent with the penchant for beautiful women. It's a lot for a reckless stunt pilot to handle. This is by Gabriel Hardman, who we recently saw writing Batman Green Arrow: The Question, Arcadia, and rising star artist Dean Koontz, the savage sword of Conan and Black Hammer visions, teaming up to tell the most dangerous Rocketeer story yet. So looking forward to this puppy.
Did you just say Dean Koontz?
Dean Koontz, not Dean Koontz.
So close. I was wondering if that was going to be another one with a
Yeah,
secret
yeah,
career,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
would appear not. But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, looking at those IDW solicitations, as I say, the compacts are off to a good start with IDW. Obviously, Rocketeer, they've done Lock and Key as well for the first sort of 10 issues. I see a Star Trek one here is going to be launching this month. Star Trek Aliens, the
Aliens,
IDW
yeah.
Classic Collection. So, I will sing from the rooftops how great the compact ranges are across all companies. They're great books, as you say, perfect for throwing in a bag, but really, really good value as well.
Yeah.
And I may or may not have just set up a brand new compact section in the
Yeah,
store. Who knows? You'll have to come to
it's
the store
pretty
and find
awesome.
out.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But moving away from IDW and over to Image Comics. And yeah, there could only really be one book that I focused on this month, and that is Terminal Number One. This is a
Mm.
conjoined effort by Joe Casey and Robert Kirkman on writing duties, with art by Andy Kubert. I mean, that's a team right there. The must-read superhero series of the year from the dream team of Kirkman, Casey, Kubert, David Finch, and Arthur Adams. There is a secret war being waged across the world by two violent forces with superhuman abilities who blur the lines between good and evil. When Marilyn Ho's search for her missing sister Alessandra puts her in the center of this conflict, she'll learn that the power to save the world comes from unlocking your genetic code and giving up everything you thought you knew about yourself, if you survive the experience. Perfect for fans of Invincible and X-Men, nothing can prepare you for the most violent and unpredictable superhero series of the year. Now, that does hit that dreaded $5 price point, although it is a 40
Mm.
pager. So I'll be curious to see if the series is a $5 series or if this is
Or
a
it's just the
40
first
page
issue.
number one.
Yeah,
We'll go
absolutely.
from there. But Kirkman on superheroes. I mean, it worked out pretty well for him last time.
Cool. Yeah, 100%. Very much looking for that's an instant pull for me. Um, Releasing 15th of July from Image Comics, 32 pages at a lovely 3.99 price point, is Something Epic number 13. Now, if you haven't been on Something Epic, it's written and art by Simon Kudransky, who's an absolutely fantastic artist. Recently did No Man's Land, which was an American Russian sort of a thing with a bit of supernatural stuff thrown in, and that's currently being developed as a feature film. But Something Epic is back with issue 13. Now, Something Epic is um it's run 12 issues so far, two arcs, and outside our perception, creative thought takes physical form, and there are only a handful of individuals known as epics who are able to interact with this wonderful hidden world and create it. And normally the characters in it are created from their imaginations, ideas that were never fully formed. But for 14-year-old Danny Dillon, accepting these responsibilities himself isn't easy or safe. You lose yourself in this world of endless fantasy and creativity where superheroes, monsters, magical creatures, and cartoon characters live and breathe alongside us. And really interesting story. Something akin to a slightly darker version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that sort of thing is always what's conjured me. But with issue 13, when a mysterious tragedy shakes the land of horror, realm of the most legendary monsters ever imagined, Noah and Deductive, who is a duck detective, are called to investigate. But in a world ruled by darkness, every monster is a suspect. So really looking forward to this coming back. You weren't on that, were you?
No, I read issue one and two, and I don't know, I was enjoying it fine enough. I think it just sort of fell by the wayside with how
Yeah,
many how many
yeah.
titles I was reading, but I've no doubt that at some point there'll be a nice little deluxe edition or compendium
Mm.
because Image of the King of the compendium. So I would say that that'll pique my interest back again.
Mm,
One last thing when it comes to indie stuff, and I've no doubt this is going to be another huge one. This is a license that seems to bounce around publishers. It's been published by IDW, published by Dark Horse. The previous publisher was Boom. Now it's moving over to Dynamite because Dynamite, I think, at the moment are the kings of nostalgia. And this fits perfectly within that. And it is a brand new Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. So you couldn't have a better writer for it. Kelly Thompson, of course, knocking it out of the
hmm
park with Absolute Wonder Woman. Works in the likes of Black Widow before as well. You've got Stephen Byrne on art for this. They present a vision of Buffy the Vampire Slayer you've got to read to believe, featuring the comics debut of a beloved Buffy fan favorite character. Into every generation a Slayer is born, and Buffy Summers may have broken the mold. Though Buffy's powers were varied and great, it was the love and devotion she inspired that was perhaps her greatest power. And when she gave her life to save the world, the people who loved her couldn't live with it. This is that story. So yeah, no, we've loads of Buffy fans in store as well. I know quite a few of them were upset because the recent relaunch of a show was canned at the last minute. So
right.
maybe this can fill their thirst for new Buffy content. So yeah, kicking off in July 22nd, and again from Dynamite Comics.
Cool. I'm going to finish off with a Titan book. And it's not, as you might expect, a Conan book. In this case, it is Solomon Kane, The Lion Errant, #1 by
So it's Conan adjacent.
it's
Okay, I'm
Conan
with you.
adjacent, of course it is, by Patrick Zurcher. So he's been writing and drawing the Solomon Kane stuff since, in the same way as James Ubb has been the custodian of Conan. And in this case, Solomon Kane is no stranger to the impossible, but the mythic storm gathering in the heart of India may be his greatest test yet. Guided by a mysterious black-maned lion, Solomon Kane is drawn to India in a confrontation between the warrior queen Rani Durgavati and the entire mighty Mughal Empire. But the coming battle is more than a clash of armies. Ancient powers are stirring, gods and demons walk among the living, and Kane's arcane Atlantean staff may hold the key to it all. Steel meets the divine, the sword of vengeance answers the call. Coming in at 4.99 for the 32 pages. That's going to be great because all of the Solomon Kane stuff by Zurcher has been great.
Yeah, anything in the Conan and Conan adjacent worlds has been great. So each title always has the same level of care going into them there. So yeah, that's just a very brief look through the indie book, especially. I mean, there's way too much for us to highlight all at one time. But yeah, do check out League of Comic Geeks and just check out their July solicitations, broken down by publisher, including trades and hardcovers and compendiums and all the rest as well. So a invaluable resource. So another shout out to them for that. With DC and Marvel, I should say if you do come into the store, we do have piles of the previous books in now. I've started ordering 50 copies of them of each. And they're just given away for free. So, there's no charge for them or anything. So if you see them up at the counter when you're picking up your pillets, just grab a couple and you'll be able to have a more in-depth look for that. So, moving on from the previous stuff, we'll just have a quick chat about some of the stuff we've either picked up this week or stuff we've read over the last couple of weeks. I have to hold my hands up and say my reading has been a little bit truncated in the last week or two, just the craziness of Free Comic Book Day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had to work a 6-day week, Keith. That's the first time in about 3 years.
Yeah, and you weren't
Uh,
very well this last couple of days, were you?
wasn't very well. I had
Hope you're
overnight
recovering.
stays.
Yeah.
I had all sorts of stuff, but it's great to see that it was worth it all because again, how busy the store was and everything.
Mm.
But I've read a couple of bits and pieces here and there, but I must admit I'm a little behind, and we'll be fully caught up for next week's show. I mean, it's interesting that like one of the first ones I wanted to throw out there that I picked up and I'm really excited for is Red Roots #1, which actually came out last week. brand new #1. Lorenzo Di Felici, and it's funny that I have it on my picked up this week and I'm excited for list, and you had it on your read over the last week and really enjoyed
Yeah,
this. So
and I'm not going to
I
say
should be right to
anything.
look forward to
Yeah,
this, is what
you
you're saying?
definitely should. Lorenzo De Felici, obviously the artist on Oblivion Song with Robert Kirkman, is writing and on art in this. It's a very creepy story, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. And I'll say no more than that.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. I mean, I should say last week as well. I mean, obviously with the leading to Free Comic Book Day and all the rest, it was a big week as well for indie books coming to an end. Indie books certainly that I enjoy. There was 4 different books of mine last week that all came to an end. All from Image Comics actually as well.
Mm,
Just looking at it, So I'd mentioned sort of earlier in the show about, a new Rick Remender title. A couple were coming to an end. There's Dust to Dust #8. Now he doesn't actually write or draw it. It's J.G. Jones. But I know that I think he's an editor on the book. It's obviously published through Giant Generator, as Keith is just showing off so elegantly there. 8-issue miniseries, some of the best art of recent
Oh,
times. Just
phenomenal. That sepia tone that was all the way through it was just class. It just really conjured that Dust Bowl feel, very, very cool ending as well. Was a wee bit unexpected, but as you got through the issue, you were like, all right. Oh,
all right.
that makes so by the time you get to the reveal, you're like, yep, I pegged that. Yep, very, very good. Very good.
Another book that came to an end, of course, was Skinbreaker. This was the long in development series from Robert Kirkman and from David Finch, where Kirkman was able to say to Finch, "You take your time and draw the most glorious book in the world." And I think he succeeded with that. Absolutely beautiful to look at.
Yep.
I believe
Yep.
it's getting a collected edition in oversized format. So they were releasing the oversized issues, but I've always said I've nowhere to put those. An oversized book I can fit on the bookshelf somewhere, but the oversized singles are a little trickier. But thoroughly, thoroughly great series the whole way through. Very consistent, great world building. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. I take it you finished it off.
Skinbreaker finished it off. Yeah, it finished really, really well. Finished really well. And just absolutely beautiful. So much detail. You could go through all the issues and just, you know, there's probably cases where you just move through panels because the dialogue's shifting you that way, but there's so much to see in each panel, so detailed.
Yeah. Then the two other books, I don't think you were on either of them, but I would recommend them both to you for very different reasons. Wrestle Heist, of course, I champion most wrestling comics because you don't get very many of them, but when they're written by Kyle Starks, who you know is a giant wrestling fan, you know is someone who has a great sense of humor when it comes to this kind of stuff, can pull out the deep cuts. It's all about a wrestler who was wronged by a promoter, and he decides he's gonna, do a heist the night of the biggest wrestling event of the year and steal money from him.
Like,
You would really enjoy it just because of the Kyle
I
Starksness
will. I
of
mean,
it.
I'll probably pick it up whenever it collects. I think Kyle Starks, is just starting to make a career out of taking a sport or martial art and putting it together with an activity. So, wrestle, heist, karate, prom.
And there was his love letter to the 80s action movies, kill them all. Yeah, he's got a real niche with what he does,
Yeah.
and he's probably the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. There's a little wrestling reference for you as well,
Okay, if you
which
say
means
so.
absolutely nothing to you.
Nope, not
And
at
then
all.
the other book, I'm really looking forward to finish it off. It had a bit of a weird shipping schedule. I think I mentioned it on here before, but Sacrificers, another great Rick Remender book written with art by Max Fuamara. More than happy to throw you all my issues from this because I think you'd really
Hmm.
dig it. But
Cool.
it finished off with issue 21 last week, but issue 20 shipped before issue 19. And
Weird.
then issue 21 came out last week. So I kept
Right.
all three. Just I'm going to be reading the end of that hopefully this evening.
That's the bird
Um,
people one, isn't it?
it is indeed,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
cool.
all about
Cool.
the rich who, they need the poor people in the world to give a sacrifice every so often because
Hmm.
when the poor people are killed, the rich people absorb their life force.
Right.
So families have to give out a sacrifice, but and it's all about a uprising to go against that. This is what I know you will love this book.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Beautiful looking book as well. So looking forward to finishing that off. What else have I got? I've got of all things, I don't really read this in single issue form, but I had to pick up this one, and that is Ice Cream Man. Now this may not mean much to you, but that is basically the Rear Window poster. My favorite movie
Yep.
of all time. So the cool thing with Ice Cream Man is you can jump in at any issue. Every issue is a one shot. And this one looks to be riffing on my favorite movie of all time. So had to pick that up. What else have I got here? I think this is another one you may have had on your red list, but I'm so far behind. Is Zatanna #1? Jamal Campbell,
Yep.
right there. Anytime you bring Zatanna into a comic, I am there. Zatanna
Yep.
or Constantine, or in some
Perfect.
cases both.
Yeah.
I am there.
Uh,
And this is part of the next level format or the next level imprint DC have been doing. They obviously launched with, Lobo, Deathstroke, Batwoman, and Zatanna. I
yeah.
thought first issue
Uh,
should be great.
Jamal Campbell writing and on art for that, and sort of picking up where they left off, for the Zatanna mini that came out there a few months back. So just very, very cool. That obviously should just have been this should be issue 4 of that series, I think, with the mini series being the first arc, you know, that sort of way. But
Yeah, they could have went with issue 7. I think it was a 6 issue mini before,
yeah, whatever it was, yeah,
but
yeah,
I think yeah, the whole next level they wanted number ones, but yeah, they really should have just continued it with
yeah.
number 7 to be honest. But there you
Um,
go.
Stuff that I picked up this week that I'm really looking forward to. Very much looking forward to the first issue of the Fall of the House of Slaughter.
What a
So
cover that is! That is beautiful.
yeah, absolutely, it's just great. This seems to be chronicling the story of well, it seems that as we come off the back of something's killing the children most lately, um, Erica is seemingly dead. We know better, and there's a lot of political machinations going on in the House of Slaughter as the old dragon is on his deathbed, and so various members of the household are now undertaking to maneuver to fill that role. Most of all, Cecilia, and of course, the person who really should be sitting on the table and taking one of the votes is Erica as the last remaining Black Mask, or one of the last remaining Black Masks in the House of Slaughter. So yeah, really cool stuff. Really enjoying that. We've already mentioned it, but the Cyclops series by Alex Packnadell, issue 4. It's just been great Cyclops action. Really looking forward to that. Wouldn't be a week if I wasn't that I picked up a Conan the Barbarian bait book. If I wasn't looking forward to it, that's number 30, by
Seemed
Jim
to be
Sub.
massively delayed. That it seemed to come out like towards
Yeah,
the end of March
yeah, it
in the
was.
US. And for whatever reason,
Uh,
I don't know. I think Titan might be experiencing the odd delay, especially because there have
yeah,
been a few of their titles that have been.
yeah.
But Conan,
Savage. Yep,
always worth waiting
Savage.
for.
Savage Sword Reforged was delayed as well, but yeah, absolutely worth waiting for. Looking forward to the second issue of Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbey's Daredevil, and that almost feels like a classic Daredevil cover. Look at that. That's something else.
Two issues in, that is already our biggest Marvel pull list title.
Brilliant. And then last of all, I'll usually pick up anything that has Matthew Rosenberg's name on it. And if Destruction Be Our Lot is his most recent
I know next to
run.
nothing about that, but I absolutely love that cover.
Yeah, 100% looks a
It
wee bit
looks like an old
steampunky.
novel or something.
Yeah,
I love the look of it.
yeah. So that's what I've been really looking forward to that I picked up this week.
Excellent. I'll just throw one last one out there just because I ordered in a ton of this because Bad Idea do all these zero issues every so often. They've
Oh
done
yeah,
some great
Warbird.
stuff recently with Planet Death. This is a new one. So written by Derek Kolstad and Robert Venditti and art by Jesse Lonergan. It's got a beautiful Frank Whiteley cover, but they
Mm.
do these issue zeros and they're sort of like 20 pages, but they're $3, so they keep the price point low. Sort of quite a few of those in, so looking forward to that as well. Something else I picked up, just because I know Keith will enjoy this segment, but not for reading, but for just marveling at how beautiful they are.
No.
Look at these absolute Batman
Yeah.
variants signed by Scott Snyder. Look, oh, beautiful. Look, there's one, and oh, look, there's another one, and oh my goodness, what's this? Is this a third one? Is
All
this
right.
all for issues I've already read? Yes, it is. But
Yes, the
oh yeah.
variant curse, the variant
Maybe we
curse.
should make this a new segment. What absolute Batman variant has Alan
Uh,
picked up this week?
yeah, yeah. Artificially inflating the comic industry and destroying you as well.
I mean, I like to think I'm doing my part for keeping the comic industry, vibrant and alive. So, I'm allowed my luxury items like this every so often.
Fair, fair,
Um,
fair.
but
Cool.
yeah, no, in fairness, we'll just finish off very quickly just with a few issues that, did make an impact that we have read in the last couple of weeks. As I say, my reading's a little behind, but I did manage to read a couple of things I really enjoyed. I got caught up on just speaking about Bad Idea actually there with Warbird, but I got
Mm,
caught up on Ordain's #2 and its
class.
prequel comic, The Machine. That is seriously good comics right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's printed on that sort of older, almost newspaper print, which adds to it. But yeah, Ordained is obviously to do with this priest who, seems to be like a former special ops operative, walked
Hmm.
away from that type of life to become a man of the cloth. But there's a crime boss in the city, wants him dead, everyone's failing. At the end of issue 2, he's like, that's it, we need to call in the machine. And then you get this
Mm,
prequel comic going into the machine's origin. I only recently get into Pink Floyd quite a lot, and there's a great
hmm.
reference here with what his ringtone is with Welcome to the Machine. Just great, great storytelling. That I love that book. It's just It
Yeah,
looks good, it
phenomenal.
reads well, and it's yeah, just really, really good stuff. And I know obviously you've
Hmm.
been reading it as well. Speaking about noir, is there a better Vertigo book right now than Brutal Dark? The
There is
Peril of the
not.
Brutal Dark, I
Yeah,
should say.
absolutely. An Ezra Kane joint, isn't it?
Mister, yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's our good friends Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips just knocking that out of the park. I mean,
Hmm.
I've ordered big on all the Vertigo stuff because I think people are going to start to come to titles slightly late, but it's 3 issues deep. It's going to be 6 issues. We saw issue 6 in this month's previews, but for me, it's going to be 6 issues at a time on a different case, and then they can bring it back in 6 months with a new case, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Mm,
Indiana Jones meets Detective Noir. It's just it knocks it out of the park.
fantastic
Now
stuff.
we're introducing femme fatales into it, that classic noir trope. Uh, just love it. It's just
Mm,
it's the best pulp sort of paperback you've ever read, sort of thing.
yeah, very, very cool. Very cool.
Another couple from myself. So Corpse Night #1. That was one I don't think you picked up. Corpse Night.
No, the preview pages didn't, and some of the previous books didn't really grab me, but I know when you're chatting about it, Stuart was chatting about it, so maybe worth picking up and having a read.
Yeah, it was basically it is written by Michael Chavez, who is known for the Conjuring franchise, more of a screenwriter, I suppose. And
Mm,
Matthew Roberts on art, who did Creature from the Black Lagoon. But yeah, it's sort of like a horror fantasy night series, as war ravages France. There's a young girl who lives with her dad. Her dad is killed, and then people are coming then to kill her, but suddenly her dad is reanimated from the dead to protect her. And it sort of goes along there, but beautiful, beautiful art, quite original as well. It sort of fell curse to this thing image I've had recently with like speculators buying up issues, and
right,
oh,
right.
this is going to be the next big thing. It is coming back for a second print, but I'll throw you my copy #1. You can have
Yeah,
a
cool,
read,
cool.
but I thought it was really, really cool, and certainly stood out the week of release. And then just one last one for myself, a little bit of DC love. Batman Wonder Woman The Truth was a really great one shot, square bound, a bit like Dark Knight Returns was, 48 pages, no ads, written by Jeff Loeb and art by Jim Chung. We all know Jeff Loeb and delays and all the rest these days. This is only a one shot. We don't have to worry about anything else
He's
shipping.
not working with Jim Lee, is he?
No, well, Jim Chung is a more than capable stand. The art in this book was beautiful. Really simple, straightforward story. Wonder Woman's in Gotham. She is donating a priceless artifact to the Gotham Museum. Bruce Wayne is in attendance because the Wayne Foundation is, obviously handling security for it so it doesn't get stolen. So, of course, you know what happens. Catwoman shows up and it gets stolen. Just a really fun one shot. Not everything has to be 6 issue miniseries and 12 issue maxi series to enjoy them. It was a real sort of throwback to those one and done storytelling from yesteryear, but beautiful art on it as well. So yeah, I have managed to read a few things, but maybe not as much as I should have.
Mm. I sort of finished my pull list fairly sharpish last week. And I got into a couple of bits and pieces, omnibus bits and pieces. So I picked up and finished off the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 5 omnibus, which finished off the original run on Ultimate Spider-Man. Just finished brilliantly. The final story of that, the death of Peter Parker, just has so much more resonance than the recent death of Ultimate Peter Parker in the recent Ultimate. Just doesn't compare. Like, just that was really great storytelling, really great build up. You got to love that character. You got to see him as Peter Parker. Despite the fact it was the Ultimate Universe, but that was like 100 and something issues.
Yeah, proper
So
long form storytelling.
yeah, absolutely. And there's the value there, and we just sort of peek into the beginning of Miles Morales's journey to become Spider-Man. So yeah, just absolutely great stuff. Finished off with some Marvel team up stuff. I think there was about 12 or 16 issues of that. Some better than others. You were seeing ultimate versions of different characters. I kind of I kind of just sort of skipped through that a wee bit.
Kind of
Uh,
nice that I
you
can
know,
sort of pull it out from the background just as you're
yeah,
talking about it.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this
So
is the only
yeah,
one I've left to read of Ultimate Spider-Man, I should
yeah.
say.
So that's done. That's that series completed for me. I also sat down to, once I was finished that, I sat down to and pulled out Lone Wolf and Cub, the Volume One Deluxe Edition, which is absolutely beautiful, Alan. That it reads in the standard Japanese way from right to left. And it took me a wee while just to get my head around that. Because you're also reading the panels in reverse order,
Yeah.
normal reverse order, but just an absolutely beautiful book, series of linked sort of one-shot stories, really, about the former shogun's executioner, now shamed and taken to being a hitman effectively, with his young infant son on his back. Really, really cool stuff, and a classic trope that informs so many action movies. It's unbelievable. So enjoyed that. Also enjoyed Captain America 10 and Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon number 3. I mentioned them both because they're both written by Chip Zdarsky, both leading towards Weapons of Armageddon. So really, really cool. With your man Dave Colton, who was the um, Operation Desert Storm Captain America, the field Captain America at the start of in Chip's last arc, and Captain America appearing then in the Weapons of Armageddon book. So very cool stuff. I know you
Here you
haven't
are.
read.
Here you are putting me to shame. I'm struggling to put some single issues together, and you're like, I read this omnibus and I
I
read
know, buddy.
this
I know. Listen, I
oversized
was.
manga. I even taught myself a new method of reading,
Yeah.
and just putting me to shame here. Putting me to shame.
um, I know you haven't had a look at too much of your free comic book day stuff yet. Um, but just a general thought for me. Maybe you agree, maybe disagree. I feel like again the indies have trumped Marvel and DC in terms of what they do with Free Comic Book Day. Um, no big shakes on the Marvel side. The preview pages for Avengers Armageddon were really interesting. I'm excited for that story, but I was already excited for that story. No really big shakes with the Nice House on the Lake, Nice House by the Sea stuff. It's just reprint stuff. But in terms of the indies, I did pick up obviously Conan, which presented the start of the new Tides of the Tyrant King miniseries, which is going to be great. The summer miniseries for Conan. I also picked up the Brand X Conan, the Sumerian you put aside for me. Really funny, seeing it's a good story. It's just not up there with
Yeah,
it's just
what
not
Jim
up there
Zub's
with the
doing at the moment.
Zubs. Some cool stuff from Masters of the Universe again, just reprints of the silly stuff. But really, what was up there, what was the shining light of Free Comic Book Day was the Energon Universe special.
Which you knew that was going to be the case
Oh,
just from the cover.
absolutely. The first story of Mask in the Energon universe, Matt Tracker, and all of that. Then Alex Sector and Bruce Sato as Miles Mayhem assembles Venom with Vanessa Warfield and Sly Rax. So this is going to be cool stuff.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, I mean it's a hard thing I think for the comic industry to juggle. I think Free Comic Book Day, as weird as this sounds, it's not aimed at seasoned campaigners like us. It's aimed
I'm with
at
you.
attracting new people. So I understand the idea of like, here's the first 5 pages, here's a taste of this event or whatever. But it is nice that there is that balance for long-term fans like us where we can just be like, well, we're very excited about that stuff. Let's check out something more. So I suppose it's all about balance. But I mean, the big two, they've never really done Free Comic Book Day in any way that was original or
Significant.
a yeah, I mean, they've never done it in a way where it's exclusive content. Like you will always get whatever you get in Free Comic Book Day somewhere else, whether it's the
Mm,
start of an event or, the end of another series or whatever. But yeah, I mean, DC obviously did their next level comic, which was sort of showing off pages from, Lobo and Deathstroke and Batwoman and stuff like that. And I understand the idea behind it,
yeah.
but yeah, there is definitely a case to be made that the indie companies definitely put in a bit more effort with it in terms of original storytelling and so forth. But yeah, no, I really like Free Comic Book Day this year because it was something that they weren't even sure was definitely going to happen. You'll
Mm.
notice your Marvel ones. It says Comics Giveaway
Comic
Day on
giveaway
it,
day,
not
yeah.
Free Comic Book Day,
Yeah.
because Diamond US obviously dissolved, and that was an event run by them. They didn't know if they would do it. So, but the one positive this year was they cut the titles down from like 70 books to 40, which meant we could order in higher volume
Mm.
rather than just making sure with something of everything. And there might be stuff. I mean, there's books like Lady Mechanica where they literally print the same thing every single year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So books like that falling by the wayside, I'm not too sad about. But yeah, no, Free Comic Book Day I think was a definite winner this year, and Yeah, no, so hopefully there's some stuff for people to look forward to as a result
Mm,
of the different stuff put out.
cool, good
So, but
stuff.
yeah, but
Great.
yeah, that is a very packed show for you there, people. Lovely run through of all the stuff coming out in the next couple of months and the stuff we're enjoying as well. We'll leave you with a little bit of a tease of a we have an interview that is being set up with a
Mm,
an artist that we're both huge fans of,
yes, very
and
much.
we'll have the pleasure of meeting sometime soon as well. But looking forward to putting that out. So keep an eye on the social channels for that in the next week or two. And outside of that, we should hopefully be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and with Alan having read a little bit more.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully feeling back to your normal self.
Absolutely. We'll try our best to reply to any comments you make here, either in real life or below the comments. Cheers, guys.
Bye bye.